This is the newsroom for today, Thursday, March 18, 2021. We're broadcasting to you on E1 Scar TV, NTN and Tarzi TV in Bartica. In the headlines, 4 GDF ranks dismissed, 3 charged with rape. 2 men, both 66-year-old, die of COVID-19. Government examining new structure for the Guyana Energy Agency. And in sport, Guyanese journalists pick Soca Warriors to beat Golan Jaguars in World Cup qualifiers. With the news, I'm Akanash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start off by telling you that the Guyana Defense Force, GDF, today said it has dismissed 4 soldiers, 3 of whom were charged with rape. The Army also said 2 other officers are facing the process that leads to disciplinary action. The ranks were stationed in MADURO, Northwest District in Region 1, Barima Waini, on border duties, had become the subject of a police investigation into the rape of a schoolgirl. The GDF had convened its own board of inquiry to investigate the circumstances which led to the allegation of rape being leveled against the ranks. With the investigation complete, 4 of these ranks have since been dismissed and a disciplinary process against 2 others are ongoing, the GDF said. Meanwhile, the Guyana Police Force charged and placed before the court 3 of the ex-soldiers in relation to the rape allegation. Police are awaiting advice from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, in relation to the 4th rank. Now, 2 men, both aged 66 and from Region 4, have died of COVID-19, taking Guyana's death toll from the pandemic to 212. The latest deaths mean that for the month of March, 15 persons have died of COVID-19. Apart from the 2 deaths recorded today, for this week, a 42-year-old man from Region 3 and a 66-year-old woman from Region 4 also died while receiving care. A total of 84 new COVID-19 cases were also recorded yesterday from 881 tests, taking Guyana's overall number of confirmed cases to 9,322. Now, after its successful COVID mobile vaccination pilot at the Burns Memorial Church on Vicinjon Road, the Ministry of Health on Thursday continued its mobile vaccination drive in Canal No. 2, West Bank, Demerara, this time with the vital organizational support of the Neighborhood Democratic Council. Daniel Swain reports.
As the Ministry of Health's vaccine rollout transitions from frontline health workers to persons aged 60 and over, a strategy has been implemented to accelerate jab distribution to this high-risk priority group. In addition to fixed mass distribution centers, the ministry, acknowledging Guyana's unique social, economic, and geographical makeup, has partnered with faith-based organizations and neighborhood democratic councils across the country to mobilize senior citizens and bring the vaccines to them.
We are here in an NDC area. And so this is what we want everybody else to do. If all the NDCs come together and mobilize their people, if the mandirs and the mosques and the churches come together, and sometimes you don't have to work separately. In this case, everybody worked together in a community, right? And it was organized, so all we did is now to show up with the staff. I am told that we have finished over 100 people already, and it's not even lunchtime yet.
A council member of the Canal No. 2 polder, NDC, described her experience in organizing the drive and working with the Health Ministry staff.
My name is Nirmala Ganesh, Councillor of Canals Polder, NDC. We are very grateful to have the Ministry of Health here with us to share the COVID-19 vaccine. We've started to arrange this yesterday with the help of other councillors to get things in order. This morning we did the registration. We had 148 persons so far to do it. The process was very nice. The doctors and the nurses that came were very helpful to us. The helpers that we have cooperate very well. We are encouraging other NDCs and community leaders to do the same to help the elderly in their community.
Persons who came out to receive their first dose of the COVID-19 jab also shared their experience.
Iris Fasad.
And why did you come today?
To get the same COVID injection.
Were you scared at all?
No.
No? So why did you come to get it?
To prevent any sickness.
I encourage them to come here, to come and take the vaccine. It's very good. Not feeling bad?
Well, I took the vaccine. Personally, I took the vaccine because I want to protect myself against the COVID-19 disease, and so that's primarily why I took it, because we fear, about the death increasing and so on in the country, and if this is one way we can curb that rise in the amount of people being infected and dying out.
Dr. Ramsamy shared that many lessons were learned from the pilot Burns Memorial Vaccination Initiative, with more people coming out than anticipated.
We definitely learned from Burns Memorial. And so yesterday I was here with the local organizers, which is made up of the NDC councillors and community people who live here. And so we were able to set up the flow so that there's no confusion. We have been able to use local resources, because there are many people here who are going to university, who are teachers, who work in the public service, who are at home. And so we have utilized them. And so you see, between our staff and the local volunteers, there is an adequate number of staff to move people. It's barely lunchtime right now, and we have already finished 120 people. And therefore, by 3 o'clock, we should finish over 200 people here. We were catering between the two sites here and Bell West to do 300 people. I believe we will exceed that number, and so it has demonstrated to be a model that works, but more importantly that the people and the technical staff seem to really like.
Guyana is currently administering the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which the EU's medicine regulator has concluded is safe and effective. The Sinopharm vaccine is also being administered in Guyana, with Russia's Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine expected later this month. I am Daniel Swain, reporting for the Newsroom.
This is the Newsroom. Ivor Loud was on Thursday sentenced to 25 years imprisonment by High Court Judge Joanne Barlow on 2 counts of rape committed on a young girl. Earlier this month, Loud was found guilty of 2 offenses by a 12-member jury at the Demerara High Court. He was accused of raping the child when she was 8 years old and then again when she was 10 years old. Loud, a married man, usually lured the child into his home. The state was represented by Sarah Martin and Afisa Bage, while Loud was represented by attorney-at-law Raquel Baker. During the sentencing hearing on Thursday, Prosecutor Martin asked the court to consider the nature and gravity of the offense and the negative impact it had on the victim's life. She also asked the court to consider that the defendant took the victim's innocence and showed no remorse for his actions. Justice Barlow, before sentencing, considered the seriousness of the charge and the fact that Loud breached the trust of the victim. She also considered the prevalence of the charge in society and the manner in which it was committed. The judge sentenced Loud to serve 22 years on the first count and 25 years on the second count. However, the sentencing will run concurrently and Loud will only spend 25 years behind bars. He was also ordered to attend counseling sessions behind bars, which to cater for persons who were convicted for a sexual offenses committed on children. Now, as part of its ongoing commitment to support countries in their fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, Israel has donated $2 million worth of personal protective equipment to the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, the GPHC. The items were handed over at a simple ceremony at the hospital on Thursday. Accepting the donation on behalf of the Minister of Health was the ministerial advisor, Dr. Leslie Ramsamy, who revealed that it has proved challenging for countries like Guyana to procure PPEs amidst the ongoing pandemic.
And we started the collaboration that has seen many of our doctors benefiting from short periods of studies and also several with masters in public health. As we receive these donations from Israel, I want to take the opportunity to ask for this cooperation to be strengthened so that more of our young people could benefit from the research and technology that Israel is well known for. The fight against COVID-19 has been an uphill task for countries like Guyana. We've had to compete against the giants or with the giants for our supplies. We have had to wait sometimes, even when we have the resources to pay. We have had to wait because supplies are not available. And so when we receive supplies like PPE, it is helping us to overcome some of these difficulties because small countries like Guyana cannot evenly compete.
I think there is a lot to be done here, especially in the health sector. Israel is also a world health leader, and we always like to share our know-how in this field with professionals from all over the world. We have young medics who come from all over the world to train in our hospitals and to do their specialization in different fields. It's a truly globalized issue today. So I'm hoping that also with the health system in Guyana, this will be a first step that will open many other doors of cooperation.
We tell you now that 1 month after the ferry service between Mulson Creek Quarantine and South Drain Suriname reopened, some 1,178 persons have utilized the crossing. The ferry service was suspended for 9 months because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In an invited comment on Thursday, the terminal manager, Gail Colley-Green, told Newsroom that 160 vehicles were also transported via the MV Sandaka. These numbers account for both persons entering and leaving Guyana. With a steady increase in the number of persons utilizing the crossing, last week alone, the Kanawaima Ferry Service Inc. recorded a total of 580 passengers and 68 vehicles. She assured that there are strict COVID-19 measures in place for the traveling public who utilize the crossing.
It varies from time to time. Sometimes you have more going out as against coming in and vice versa. But yes, it has been over 20. We have seen over the last couple of days, we've seen 60 something. Yesterday, I think we had 92 coming in.
And what are the days you guys are operating again?
Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. For COVID-19, there is a system here. Since reopening, the system is the health officials are here. Persons who are traveling, their first point of contact would be with the Ministry of Health officials. They present themselves there. The health officials do whatever it is they do. And if they're cleared, they proceed to us. And the process starts.
Only Guyanese and Surinamese are being allowed to utilize this facility, with international traffic for passengers with other passports prohibited. Diplomatic residents in Guyana and in Suriname are being facilitated upon request through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of both countries. The ferry service reopened after 3 Guyanese using the backtrack route to return to Guyana lost their lives. We tell you now that the Chief Executive Officer of Sevon's Waste Management Inc., Morris Archer, arrived at the Criminal Investigation Department, Eve Leary, just after noon on Thursday for questioning as the police continue its investigation into the illegal sale of a piece of land back in 2018. It comes 1 day after former Commissioner of the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission, Trevor Ben, was grilled on the land deal, and weeks after the government indicated that it was reviewing the sale of a plot of land to the company. Ben is currently before the court for his involvement in another alleged illegal land deal at Ogle East Coast, Demerara, and is being investigated for several others, including the land sold to Archer and his company. Archer was informed by a letter from Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Anil Nandlal, in February that the government was looking to repossess the land as it was illegally sold to him by Ben. Nandlal later said that the sale was being reviewed on a direct appeal by Archer to President Irfan Ali, but noted that the transaction remains highly illegal. Nandalal had said that even if the government decides to act in Archer's favor and allow the transaction to be regularized, it does not make the wrongdoing right. The AG insisted that the land was not owned by the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission, and as a consequence, the Commission had no authority to lease or even sell the land without the permission of the rightful owners, the National Sports Commission. Archer had previously said that his company followed all guidelines and legal procedures in the purchase of a plot of land that the government is now seeking to repossess. Archer is hoping for a resolution void of any legal showdown. He claimed the land was purchased from the Guyana Lands and Survey Commission in 2018 for $100 million, of which $80 million has already been paid. The CEO said as per the written agreement with the Lands and Survey Commission, he was told that the transport for the land will take 3 years to be transferred, and once that is done, the remaining $20 million would be paid. In the interim, Archer explained that he was granted a 50-year lease by the Lands and Survey Commission, which he is currently paying simultaneously. The CEO said that he also received a government evaluation for the land, putting the value at $47 million. He said despite this, when he approached the commission, he was told he has to pay $100 million. Calls to Archer's phone on Thursday went unanswered. Now, the Vice President, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo, has assured that the government is working on a new structure for the Guyana Energy Agency to ensure that it is better equipped to handle the rapid developments in the oil and gas sector. The details in this report.
During his guest appearance on Globespan 24/7 program to discuss oil and gas contracts and opportunities for all Guyanese on Wednesday evening, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo said the coalition government failed to implement policies to deal with the rapid changes occurring in the sector. As such, the government is working to safeguard the country's resources. The administration is working to amend the 1986 Petroleum Exploration Production Act and to implement policy framework while simultaneously ensuring investments in the sector are not delayed.
So these capabilities have to be built early. For example, there's a request now for proposal for new shore base. And many people are coming to us and saying that the parameters are all out of whack with international parameters. And secondly, it seems designed to give, a few people the work. So we need to build those capabilities. That's when you get into proactive.
Dr. Jagdeo explained that the new policies will empower the government by ensuring that it can hold oil companies accountable for the sums spent here to avoid Guyana paying exorbitant cost recovery fees. Touching on the issue of renewable energy and the environmental impact of oil production, Dr. Jagdeo noted that the government is cognizant that the window for the production and utilization of fossil fuels is rapidly closing. The Vice President also said with the right policies in place, Guyana can maintain its green status while it produces oil.
So this is why we believe that this resource has to be utilized in a careful way, but swiftly. The window for oil and gas or fossil fuel is rapidly closing, and it will get even more difficult as we move forward because of the Biden administration now, its commitment to the Paris Agreement and to move irreversibly to incentivize the production of renewable.
The World Bank defines the blue economy as one in which the ocean's resources are exploited sustainably for economic growth and improved livelihoods. Dr. Jagdeo noted that the United States administration's commitment to the Paris Agreement to incentivize production of renewable resources will see private sector investment for non-polluting forms of energy coming in on an accelerated scale. The Vice President emphasized that the resources garnered from the petroleum sector must be used to uplift the standards of living for all Guyanese by reinvesting in other sectors.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather and bridge reports along with sport. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting off with some football news. Senior sport journalists Raul Tony and Duncan Saul have picked Trinidad and Tobago's Soca Warriors to defeat Guyana's Golden Jaguars when the two sides play their first FIFA 2022 World Cup qualifiers on March 25 in the Dominican Republic. They spoke to Akim Green on Thursday.
Firstly, I think anyone who has you on social media would know, I guess, how perturbed you are over some selections and non-selection, I would say. But before we go deep into that aspect, I want to get your general thoughts on, you know, the overall composition of the squad and what do you make of the chances?
Well, given the fact that Trinidad would have released their squad yesterday, the same time with Guyana or later on in the day, it pales in comparison because Trinidad basically released a squad that, you know, similar to what they would have played against Guyana at the Gold Cup, which was in 2019. Not much has changed with Terry Fenwick and his selection. I think Kevin Molino isn't there because of injury, but they do have Garcia, who is playing one of the top clubs in Europe. So it gives Trinidad the advantage. Guyana's squad reflects that of the Guyana Football Federation and what the national coach has been preaching over a while. If you look back at the squad that we have now to the squad that we drew 1-1 with Jamaica with last year, it would show you that the distinct disadvantage that we are placed at heading in against Trinidad. Now I understand for the fact that we are looking to give young local talent the opportunity, but most of the local talent that both Duncan and I know that are ready for international football should be there. Well, are on the squad. We're going to dive into the squad later on, but well, I'm Guyanese. I'm going to say that I like our chances because I want to support the guys because I know that they've worked hard to be on that team and to be in the Dominican Republic as well. But as a football pundit at this stage, I think the advantage is with Trinidad.
Duncan? Well, I echo the sentiments of Ron. I mean, if you look at the team, given the caliber of players are on it, it certainly shows that the GFF is in transition. The team is in transition because you have like about 15 players that's under the age of 24, 9 of which hardly have any experience at the international senior level. So I think the GFF is at a place where they have to decide whether we want to be competitive or we want to develop players. And the general mantra of international football is you don't develop players playing international football. That occurs at the club level. So it's one of those positions where the GFF is certainly in purgatory and they have to decide what really they're trying to achieve.
You can view the entire interview on our Facebook page later this evening. Now, the Trinidad and Tobago men's national senior team will start their campaign without leading goal scorer Kevin Molino after the ace midfielder was ruled out with a hamstring strain suffered on preseason duty with the new MLS employers Columbus Crew. The Soca Warriors play Guyana on March 25 in the Dominican Republic and then Puerto Rico in Marguez for the opening 2 Qatar 2022 World Cup qualifying assignments. Molino, who has scored 21 goals from 50 international appearances, will be a big miss. The most prolific scorer in head coach Terry Fenwick's 26-man travelling squad is the forward Willis Plaza, who has 7 international goals from 7 starts and 22 substitute appearances. The full Trinidad and Tobago squad can be seen on our website, Newsroom.gy. Cricket news now. The 2-day warm-up game between Sri Lanka and the West Indies President's 11 ended in a draw on Thursday at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. West Indies resuming on 101 for 3 in response to Sri Lanka's 172 were bowled out for 294, at which point the game ended. Shea Hope added just 8 to his overnight 60, while Darren Bravo was dismissed without addition to his overnight 30. Kyle Mears, who made a historic debut double hundred in a series win against Bangladesh, made 57, while Ruston Chase, who picked up 4 for 12 when Sri Lanka batted, scored 52. Bowling for Sri Lanka, Dhananjaya De Silva picked up 3 for 26, Lassit Embol-Denaya 3 for 69, and Suranga Lakmal 2 for 14. West Indies and Sri Lanka will clash in 2 test matches starting March 21 and 29. Now, over 20 teams have been confirmed to compete in the inaugural Speakers T20 Championship, set to bowl off shortly. The tournament dates and draw will take place on Friday, when the official launch will take place at the Guyana Cricket Board boardroom, that's at Regent Road in Border. The Guyana Cricket Board and the Everest Cricket Club are partnering to stage the competition. Among the teams confirmed to compete for top honours are Albion, Rosal Town Youth and Sports Club, Tugba Park, West Babis, Lusiknan, the University of Guyana Trojans, Everest, Police, Maltinos, the Gandhi Youth Organisation, Demerara Cricket Club, Georgetown Cricket Club, Rising Stars, Canal No. 2, New Wales Superstars, McGill Sports Stars, Bellevue Sports Club, Cornelia Ida, and Bacchus Sports. The teams will be vying for a top prize of $1 million Guyana dollars, while second to fourth will receive $500,000, $200,000, and $100,000. The most valuable player would also be rewarded. And finally, India set up a series decider with an 8-wicket win over England in an absorbing 4th T20 in Ahmedabad. Surya Kumar Yadav hit a sparkling 57 of 31 balls in his first international outing as the host posted a challenging 185 for 8 on the best batting surface of the series. England struggled to get going but were still firmly in contention at 140 for 3 off 16 overs, only to lose Ben Stokes for 46 and Ian Morgan in consecutive balls. Needing 33 to win from the last 2 overs, Archer hit 2 fours and a 6 to set up a thrilling finale, but Shardul Thakur held his nerve as England finished on 177 for 8. The first victory by the side batting first in this series sees it tied at 2-all. The final T20 in Ahmedabad is on Saturday. And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, Newsroom.gy, our Facebook page and Instagram. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.